Welcome. This is Unit 9, study guide for the final exam in Algebra 2-2. Unit 9, we just have a few problems, as you've noticed, but there's a lot of graphing. Make sure that you go back and study how to graph in this unit if you're just not getting it. First thing, this is a straight line right through the y-axis. So we go to -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw our straight line. It will be solid because it can be equal to it. It says greater than, more than, goes up on our shading. Okay. Next one, 3x plus 5. We go to plus 5. Right here. Preferably don't put all those little points in. I don't know why I just did that for you. But you go up to plus 5. Now you're going to rise 3 and run 1. And we go to the right because it's a positive slope. I guess I don't have to crunch it down so much. So we go 1, 2, 3. Go to the right. 1. It's going to be right about here. Get it about right here. I go 3, 1. Okay, and on that one, it's a solid line as well. And it's less than. Okay, the last one graphing is y is less than or equal to -2x minus 5. We go to -5. Right there it is. We rise 2, -2 over 1, you still rise 2, run 1 to the left, and your line's going right like this. Please use a ruler on your test. Okay, this is less than, so we'd shade down. All it's asking for is where is the solution located, which quadrant? Well, you can see they all cross over right there. That's where you have all 3 shadings. The quadrants are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. In case you've forgotten quadrant numbering, it's just like a clock. The 1's in the same spot, but then it goes counterclockwise. So this would be quadrant 3. If you've done all this work, then I can see you're thinking. You're good to go on that problem. Next problem. Solve the following system to find the y-coordinate of the solution. So we've got this problem here. We have a couple options to. Probably the quickest is to just go ahead and plug in, setting these equal. So substitute this in for the y value in the upper equation. So 5x minus 5 equals 2x squared minus 6x plus 7. Because you have 3 terms, get them all on one side. I'd subtract 5x, add 5, subtract 5x, add 5. That'll wipe out this side. And we get 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. Now, because we've wiped everything out here, we could put equals 0 here, but you're more used to it over here. Now, hopefully you know at this point you have got to use the x game to solve this. So we end up with -11 and a positive 24. Factors would be -8, -3. Bring in your x. First, middle, middle, last. So we factor that out. 2x squared minus 8x minus 3x plus 12 equals 0. Don't worry about the equals 0 right now while you're factoring. It got cut off of the film anyway, just as well. You're going to look at the first two. cover the last two. Factor out 2x, factor out 2x. 2x parentheses x. 2x goes into negative 8x, negative 4. Now we copy paste x minus 4. Drop down our negative. 3 times x would be 3x. 3 times negative 4 would be positive 12. So now we have x minus 4 in both locations. Bring it down. And 2x minus 3. Set them to 0, so set each one of those to 0. X minus 4 equals 0, that would be x equals 4. 2x minus 3 equals 0. Solve it, you should get x equals 3/2. You work it out. Okay, now we plug 4 back into one of these equations. This is the easier equation. So 5 times 4 would be 20, minus 5 would be 15. So I know one of my y's is going to be 15. I see this one here, so it might be right. I don't see a 15 there. So I know that one of these is wrong. Well, actually, I presume both are, because that's my only 15. This one's wrong, this one's wrong. You don't need to circle anymore. Considering that you've shown all this work, that would be adequate. Okay, next one. What are the x-coordinates of the solution for the system given below? Well, on this one, it's not as nice because we don't have y equals, and we've got actual equations. So I would look for elimination or substitution. Actually, I would just look for elimination. If we cancel these x's, this would work. Take negative 5 times the bottom one, and that would cancel my x's. Actually, then we'd still have x squared. I'd cancel out the y's. If you multiply by negative 2, you'll cancel them. So x squared plus 10x, and again, I didn't want to cancel the x's like I originally thought because it would still have an x squared, plus 6y plus 8 equals 13. Now, negative 2 times 2x, negative 4x. Negative 2 times 3y, negative 6y. Negative 2 times 7, it's on the other side of the equals, so we have to bring our equals in line. Negative 2 times 7 would be a negative 14. Let's go ahead and add these together. We get x squared plus 6x. That wipes out. Plus 8 equals negative 1. Let's bring this over and set it to 0. X squared plus 6x. Now the reason we know to set it to 0 is that it's a trinomial. And we will need to factor. Equals 0. When we factor that, we find positive 3 is what works. 3x, but you know the shortcut because there's a 1 there. You can go x plus 3 times x plus 3. You are looking for what your x equals. X would equal negative 3. That would be that one. Ooh, I tried to really trick you there with those others. Okay, next one. Complete the tables below to find the x values where f of x equals g of x. We're just looking for when our y values are equal on each of these tables. Now, I really highly suggest looking at your x values that they offer. X equals 14 and 29. We don't even have tables going to 14 and 29, so I would mark that one out immediately. We do have tables with -2 and 3 shown for our x values. We do have this table 0, 1, 2, 6, and 7 shown. Due to the fact that this one is the shortest one to look for first, I'm going to go to my -2 and see if they both have the same y value at -2. So I can plug in, right here, I can plug in -2 into this equation. Now if you remember from Algebra 2-1, synthetic division, you simply take -2 and you can write these, 3, -6, and 5. Drop this down, 3. -2 times 3 is -6. Drop that down, it's -12. -2 times -12 is +24. +24 and 5 is +29. So I know that my value is 29 there. Now in this one, it's almost as easy just to plug it in. -2 times -3 would be +6. +6 and +23 is +29. My -2's agree, so it has to be this one, because this one does not show a -2. And no solution would mean that none of them agreed. None of these other options. So we're done with that. Okay, that finishes off Unit 9. Thank you very much. Good luck. This will be the second day of finals week.